Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Mama Christine's podcast, Living Life Through Experience. So tonight we're going to talk about some different things. And, I never know what I'm going to talk about when Thursday comes around until a whole week has gone through and I realize this has been the same scenario or question or observations that I've had over the week. And I said, this would be a good topic to talk about. And I've met some new people this week, new clients and whatnot, and getting to talk to them as well gets me to realize that, everybody's looking to find themselves. Everybody is looking to figure things out, so to say. So that's what this is for. This podcast is to help everybody figure their things out. A lot of people don't know what to make of things or how to change things or where to go from here. So that's what we talk about. So as always, I am going to start with a card pull, and from there we move on to our discussion, which tonight's discussion is all about accountability, transparency, and excuses, right? What does that mean? You'll see. Okay, so tonight we're going to pick a card, and it's a full moon, people. It's a full moon. It's a full buck moon here in the summer. And full moons are all about releasing and letting go. So isn't this the most perfect time, I would say, to have some accountability? Stop making excuses and so on and so forth. So let's pick a card. And I went with my goddess deck today, only because the energy is very strong. And these beautiful goddesses have a very strong energy. So here we go. The arts. So the arts, now that can stand for anything, okay? It doesn't necessarily mean it's about writing or it's about reading or art or drawing or music or anything specific to that nature, but express yourself through creative activities. Express yourself, through creative abilities. Now, what could that mean? Well, are we not going to be talking about accountability? You have to be truthful and you have to be within integrity to be accountable for your own actions, your own healing, your own whatever, right? So how do we express these different things? We're going to talk about that. And that's what the message is all about. It's about getting everything out, expressing ourselves, to bring healing about, to stop, kidding ourselves, making excuses, so on and so forth. So there we go. That's the message. So that's so funny. I just had the feeling I had to pick the top card, and I picked it, and it's the home card. I know it's hard for you guys to see because of the glare, but it's the home. So it says your household situation is improving, whether through a move or healthy changes in the occupants. Now think of yourself as your home, okay? This is your vessel. This is your home. Through healthy changes, we make a better home. So let's start with accountability. So accountability is the action of being open and honest with yourself as well as others. If you have done something wrong, it's being truthful and stepping up and acknowledging the fact that yes, you made a mistake, or yes, you made the wrong choice. Now, why do we not do that? Right? Think about it. And this has been something that's been on my mind because I know I've been through it, and that's why I call this living life through experience, because I've been there, done that. And I think through this podcast, it's a way of helping others to see the same thing and go, oh, okay, I get it. And therefore helping you to get where you need to be. So accountability. Now, I can remember, as far back as I can remember, anytime something was happening in my life, I was already playing out this scenario in my head of how I was going to play it out, how I was going to answer it, what I was going to say, whatever. And I look back at that now and go, why was I doing that? It's almost like I was getting ready to defend myself. And it's like, is that really taking accountability? I'm going to say no. Why? Because at that point in my life, it's not like I had to defend myself or something. It was my own brain telling me I had to, because I felt that I was always in the wrong. I always felt that if somebody asked me to do something and I did it, right away in my head, in my head, I was having this discussion with myself. What if I didn't do it right? What if I didn't do it the way they liked it? Well, maybe if I tell them this, or maybe if I tell them that. Instead of just saying, this is what I did, this is what I thought you wanted me to do, this is how I understood it. If it's wrong, I'll just fix it, No, it was like already like, thinking of every excuse, right? Because here comes the excuses of how I deal with this. So I would say, well, think about it. Most kids go through this, okay? Let's go with teenagers, right? You tell your teens to clean their room, okay? So as the parent, you expect that you have asked for this assistance, okay, for them to clean their room, and they tell you, yeah, sure, not a problem. And then what happens is, sorry, just want to shut that off so it's not beeping. They don't do it. But they know already that they're at fault for not doing what they promised they would do. And they're already playing out their scenario in their head is, oh my God, when my mom comes home, what am I going to say? I could tell her I wasn't feeling good, so I laid down instead. I could tell her that dad wanted me to do something, so I did that instead of doing what she told me to do. I could tell her I was doing homework and lost track of time, right? See how we come up with all these excuses of why we didn't follow through with what we said we were going to do. And then, of course, then mom comes home and says, well, why isn't your room clean? And then you're already like, oh my God, which one do I say? Just be transparent. Nothing worse than trying to beat around the bush and make excuses and basically lie to cover up something you didn't say you were going to do. So instead of coming up with, well, mom, you know what? I know I told you I wanted to clean my room, but the more I looked at it, the more I really didn't want to do it, and so I didn't do it. I'm sorry. Is there a way that I could do it tomorrow? Now, of course, some parents may say, I wanted it done now. It should have been done now. Which, yes, when you ask somebody to do something, you do expect it to be done. But when it isn't, and that person actually comes forward completely honest and transparent with you, you have to honor that, because not a lot of people do that. So if this child, okay, we'll call him a child, came through and said, okay, mom, I know you said, to clean my room, and I told you I would, but, I just got into playing video games, and then I was talking with my buddies, and, I just didn't do it. Then as the parent, I would hope that the conversation would move to, well, thank you for being honest with me. I am disappointed, but I do expect that we can work on this so that we can set a time limit of when this needs to be done, because it does need to be done. Right? One would hope. Does every parent do that? Not necessarily. Does every kid do that? No, not necessarily. Because as kids, we're not taught how to be open and how to be transparent. We are taught to, and I'm going to say it, obey, listen, do what you're told, and when we don't, it's that fear just takes over, and oh my God, well, how am I gonna make up a story to cover up what I didn't do, or whatever. Or maybe, you were told, yeah, you can go out. If you're going to go hang out at your friend's house, that's great. Come back home at whatever time. Only to find out that they really didn't go to that friend's house. They went somewhere else and probably did something they weren't supposed to do. And now what? And, and this is where fear comes in. This is where doubt comes in. This is where, oh my God, just so many different emotions come in. And this is, and again, I'm not blaming any specific parents or anything like that. I think every parent of every generation has this expectation of their kids, you know. And I mean, mind you, this can apply to anything. It's not just kids. It could be your job, it could be your coworkers, it could be your boss, it could be your family, your friends. It could be anything and anyone. I'm just picking one group and just going with that just for story's sake, because I've been there. As a kid, I can remember not doing what I was supposed to do and thinking, oh my God, what am I going to say? If I already have to sit there and think about what I'm going to say, then I'm already in that denial. I'm already making excuses. I'm not being transparent, you know? So why don't we teach our kids these things? All we teach our kids is listen, do what I say, not as I do. And that's not a great example either. Because, you know, think about it. We teach our kids, first of all, think about it. If your kids will come home and say, oh, well, so-and-so's parents let them go here or there. Say, oh, if so-and-so's parents tell me he can jump off the bridge, you want to jump off the bridge too? We push them in that sense not to follow other people, to be their own person and whatnot. And that they don't have to act like everybody else, but yet will have a certain behavior or way of being at home where we tell them don't do that, but they live with it 24/7, so how can you expect them not to? You know, it's a fine line, but it's accountability on everyone's part to do what's right. So, transparency. Be open, be honest. Okay? If everybody was more transparent in their thoughts, their ideas, their feelings, their emotions, things would be so different. So different. So now, for example, and again, this is through different experiences, when people start to date other people, in the very beginning, I think everybody loves to put on a show. Put on their, you know, best foot forward and, you know, look their best and sound their best and, you know, whatnot. How am I going to act? What am I going to look like? What am I going to wear? You know, do I go with the makeup? Do I go without the makeup? You know, and we're all worried about who we're supposed to be, that we just forget to be us. We forget to be us. We're not transparent. We show the world a book cover of what we want them to see. And that's not being transparent. It really isn't. It's like getting a book that has the most gorgeous cover and makes everything sound wonderful in the story, but then when you actually read the story, it kind of sucks, okay? And there are book covers out there like that. That's why they always say, don't judge a book by its cover. Just because something or someone looks great doesn't mean it is great. But again, being transparent in a relationship, whether it's romantic, it's friend, it's work, it's whatever, be open and be honest with who you are, what your expectations are. Especially, be honest, dating is the worst, you know, in some sense, because, you know, if I'm to meet somebody new, I just be open and honest with me. If this is who you are, this is who you are. It's the same thing with myself. I mean, this is me. You know, this is who I am. Yes, I'm an intuitive. Yes, I'm a healer. Yes, I do podcasts. Yes, you know, this is what I believe in. Do you have to like exactly everything I do? No, but at least be open and honest with me of your feelings about these things, so that I don't overstep any boundaries with my thought processes on you, right? That's really what it is. You know, I know somebody who, oh my gosh, was dating somebody that in the beginning, this other person showed everything that one person wanted to see. How great things were, how great they were, best behavior, polite, you know, so on and so forth. And again, I have been in this situation a couple of times, unfortunately, but you know, lesson learned. That's what it's all about, learning lessons. And you know, this person made everything seem like, you know, roses and lollipops, so to say. And then once the relationship really started evolving into something more committed, then all of a sudden it was expectation, control, no more understanding, became very selfish, then maybe even borderline narcissistic, and it's like, whoa, where did this come from? And it's unfortunate because people are not always transparent in the very beginning. They put on the mask in their best behavior and say, this is who I am and this is what I want, and only to shed all that off later, and turns out they're not who they're supposed to be. So again, how do we avoid that? Paying attention to the signs. Pay attention to those little red flags. Any little thing pops up and you go, pay attention. Okay, that's how you avoid that. You get out quick. You don't get out, years later. So yeah, be transparent on who you are and what you want. A lot of even wanting things, it doesn't matter if it's a dream, it's a goal, or if it, I want to buy some new clothes. You know what I mean? Be transparent. If somebody says, do you need anything? Then by all means, if you need something, say yes. If people are talking, and again, if your needs or wants are not expressed, you're not being transparent and open with conversation and what your needs and wants are, then people don't know. I remember even with my kids at times, they were like, well, you should know. I'm like, I may be psychic, but I am not a mind reader. So guess what? You need to tell me. You need to be open. You need to be transparent. You need to put it out on the table so we know what's going on. I'm not playing guessing games, but that's really what it is. Be transparent. If you have goals and dreams, tell your family, tell your friends, you can pick and choose, obviously, of who or what, you want to share with, what you want to share, or who you want to share it with, I should say. But there's nothing wrong with sitting down with somebody and say, you know what, my dream, even though I'm this many years old, I would love to go back to school. And not having the fear of the old ways of, you can't do that, you're too old, how are you going to do that, how are you going to manage your time, what makes you think you could learn all that now? You don't have the money, you don't have the resources, you don't. We're not transparent with life because we're afraid of what people might tell us. We're afraid of what might happen. We're afraid we might fail. And if we fail, then what are people going to say? I tell you, who cares? Who cares? I would rather try and do my best, even if I fail, knowing at least I went for it, than to sit back and never do it and then regret it, wondering if I had tried, what would have happened. That's excuses, right? So, truth, integrity, transparency, right? Accountability. When things fall apart in your life, don't go blaming other people. Be accountable for your own crap. Seriously. Be accountable for your own crap. Many times people are very quick to look at everything and everyone else and say, well, if it wasn't for him or wasn't for her, if it wasn't for this or it wasn't for that, if it wasn't because of my job, if it wasn't because of my mother or my dad or my siblings or my in-laws, it would have been different. It would have been different if you changed it. And if there is an issue with mom, dad, sister, brother, anybody else for that matter, then it was up to you to step up and create a boundary. Anything that happens to you is your choice. Okay? If you're stuck dealing with the same old BS all the time, because you're allowing it. So, accountability. Whose fault is it? And I don't even like saying fault. Whose choice? Whose choice is it to have this happen over and over and over again? It's because the choices you make, the people that you keep, and I hate to say anybody's bad. I don't think anybody's bad. I just think everybody has certain people that they connect with and other people that they don't. And sometimes if you're not connecting with people, they're not the right people for you. Those people belong to other people. So if it's not right for you, then be accountable. Create boundaries. Do what you need to do. I think the feeling of failing, okay, is something that stands at the top of the list. It really does. And what I mean by that is fear is one of the biggest problems for everyone. Is it normal to have fear? Of course it is. Having fear in life is a normal emotion, which is basically like the nervousness of having to do something new or make change or whatever it may be. But taking it to excess, where it's, oh my God, I'm so afraid I can't do it. What if I fail? What? Right there, that is the excuse. That is the not being accountable, not being transparent. That is just living in the excuses. Stop living in the fear, right? Fear, false evidence appearing real. And I've talked about fear before. There's really two emotions in life, fear and love. And any negative emotion is attached to fear. Any positive emotion is attached to love. So, think about that. Do you want to be in fear? Do you want to be in love? So when we lie to ourselves and basically tell ourselves that we're not good enough, we can't do this, we can't do that. What if it doesn't work? What if I don't have time? What if I don't have the money? What if I don't have this? What if I don't have... You're just making more and more excuses. But what if it doesn't work? But what if it goes wrong? But is nothing but a word that makes more excuses. So stop making excuses. Be open and honest with yourself. You're here to live this life, and I've told you this before. God put you on this earth to live a life. It is your life. You are here to experience, to learn, to grow as a person. So stop making excuses and just do it. And if you fall down, so what? Get up. You fall down again, get back up. Again, it goes back to being an infant, going into toddlerhood, right? How many babies, 10 months, 11 months, a year old, start pulling themselves up? They stand by holding on, and then they fall. Do they just cry and lay on the floor forever? No, they get back up. Then they start to take a step, and they fall. Then they get up, and they take a couple steps, they fall. And they keep going, and keep going, and keep going. And next thing you know, they're running around the house, and you go, oh boy, we're in trouble now, right? Why is it when we get older and we fall down or we trip up, we just lay down and die? And we go, I can't do this. Keep going. Keep going. What are you giving up for? Stop making excuses. Be honest with yourself. Do you want something? Then by all means, go for it. Do it. And even if you do decide to do it, whatever that may be for you, and you're going with it and it's happening and you're doing something and all of a sudden you have a crappy day and nothing's going right, don't give up. It's one bad day. It's like being a runner and one day you trip as you're running. Does the runner just lay on the ground and go, oh, that's it, I'm done? No, they get back up, they brush themselves off, and they keep going. We have to keep going in life. We were not meant to be born, follow through with what society says we're supposed to do, and then just lay down until we die. That's not life. Oh my God. Life is so much more than that. It's growing, it's learning, it's exploring, it's researching, it's, oh my God, whatever you can do. You're here to enjoy life, so enjoy it. Have fun, go explore, travel, do things, hang out with friends more. It's so easy and so comfortable to just leave work, go home, eat, plop on the couch, and end a story until the next day where you do the same thing again. You've got to have life experiences, and not just bad ones. You need good ones too. So for all those bad experiences that you've had where things didn't go right, dates didn't go right, marriages didn't go right, jobs didn't go right, friendships fell apart, you got to have the good stuff. Go out, have fun, explore. Like, I have a list on my phone of things that I want to do. Like, I never knew there was this massive castle right here in Massachusetts. I think it's up near the Boston area, or just north of Boston. I'm like, so it's a day trip. I leave early in the morning. I could go up there in a couple of hours, enjoy myself, go for lunch, right? And then take my time coming home. Making my life exciting, going out and doing something, exploring, having fun, seeing new things. You know, you don't need to travel to European countries if you can. I mean, because not everybody can afford those things. Okay? So you don't need that. There's so much right here. And like I said, right here in Massachusetts, oh my God, there's so many things to see and explore. And it's like, you don't even know what's in your backyard half the time. So be open, be honest with yourself. What do you truly want? You know, go after it. Stop making excuses. So here's your homework. It's a full moon. I am now willing and ready to let go of my fear of moving forward, my doubts in myself, my fear of traveling, my fear of not being good enough, my fear of whatever, okay? My doubts about this, that, the other. It doesn't matter, whatever you have, okay? And even if you don't know, please help me to release and let go of what no longer serves me. Anything that is holding me back from moving forward, I let it go. Anything within my mindset that says anything other than me being a great person, I'm letting it go. I'm letting go of the negativity, the sadness, the denial, the excuses. Those are things you want to let go of. You know, when you start letting go of the excuses and all that other stuff I just mentioned, that's when you see life differently. Because right now you're seeing things through the eyes of excuses, negativity, doubt, fear, right? When we start letting that stuff go, and it's so funny because my mantra has been, I trust and believe everything's going to work out perfectly. But I also have this mantra of, I am scared, but I'm doing it anyway. I am fearful, but I'm doing it anyway. Because sometimes you just have to. You know, life is too short. You know, and you just have to sometimes just bite the bullet and go. You know, spread your wings and fly, whatever acronym you want to use. You know what I mean? Do it. Do it. Stop making excuses. Take accountability for how you feel about yourself. Take accountability for anything that you feel that you've had to make excuses for. Take accountability. Be transparent. Show people who you are. Tell them what you're up to. Tell them your dreams. Tell them your goals. You know, tell them how excited you are to live life. Because deep down inside, you are. I don't think you want to sit in a box anymore and just sit there every day. Dinner, TV, bed, dinner, TV, bed, dinner, TV, bed. With the occasional, I went to a birthday party today. You know, there's so much more to life. You know, I mean, like I said, right here in Massachusetts, I want to go visit that castle this summer. I want to go to P-Town. I haven't been there since I was, I think, a teenager. You know, I want to go to all these different places. I want to go back to Boston and hang out with my daughter and go check out these awesome looking, like, cafes and restaurants that I've seen online. It's like, oh my God, that looks fabulous. I want to do that. I want to go here. I want to go there. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I haven't even left Massachusetts yet. So imagine how much more I could do if I really pushed myself. And I still, for myself, I'm talking, I'm 57. I plan on being around until like my mid-90s. I put my order in, you know. I'll stick around to my mid-90s. As long as I can keep helping people, I'll do it. So, okay, I got 30 plus years to go. What can I accomplish in 30 plus years? Oh my God, right? Oh my God. So I'm done making excuses. Because I'm done believing what everybody else used to tell me. You can't do that. How are you going to do that? You don't have the money for that. Why are you going to do that by yourself? You should go with somebody. You shouldn't go alone. You shouldn't do anything by yourself. That's weird. Why are you doing that? I don't care. I really don't care anymore. I've already gone on a couple of trips by myself. I had an amazing time. Is it quieter? But it is quieter, but you know what? Sometimes that's okay. That's okay. And who's to say, especially when I was in Universal, you know how easy it is to strike up a conversation with people? You're stuck in line for an hour. You have conversations with people, you do. So you know what? If you're comfortable in your shoes, you'll be comfortable anywhere. So let's stop making excuses. Let's stop denying ourselves of different things. You know, like I said, there's so much out there to learn, to observe, to enjoy, oh my God, just, it's there. It's there. You know, I remember every summer going, I'm going to hang out at the beach more. I'm going to hang out at the beach more. I'm going to hang out at the beach more. I never really did. Why? Because I just got comfortable sitting at home, or, oh, I'll just go do some shopping, or, you know, I don't want to go alone, blah, 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 blah. And now it's like, oh my God, every Monday, that's where I'm at, the beach. I have a friend who's got a place she has her own property right on the beach. We head down there every Monday. It's amazing. That's my me time. It definitely is. So, you know, that's my summer. You know, I want to say June, July, August, September. Yeah, so a good 4 months. I think even last year we were there in the first or second week of October because the weather stayed so good. It's not the fact of, you know, swimming and sun tanning. It's hanging out with good company, you know, having some food, enjoying each other's conversations, enjoying a little bit of sun and some sand. Yes, maybe even the water. You know, it's a whole bouquet of enjoyment. You know, it really is. So those are the things I really want you guys to think about, especially now with this full moon. Release and let go of the old stuff. Release and let go of old patterns, old thought processes. Whatever people told you in the past, put it away. It's done. It's done. Another suggestion for you, obviously, I've mentioned this a million times, but for all the new people that could be watching, write a letter. If you have anything not finished or unfinished business, old feelings, right? Anger, so on and so forth, with a specific person or a specific situation, I want you to write a letter to the person or the situation, or maybe even yourself. Maybe you're mad at yourself because you never do what you fully really wanted to do. I've been there. I've had my moments where I'm angry at myself for not standing up for myself, or not doing what I want to do, or not being transparent and not being accountable and being angry instead, you know. Write a letter, especially today when the full moon, perfect time. Yell, scream, holler, swear. Penmanship doesn't count, spelling doesn't count, don't worry about it. Just get everything out on paper and you take that thing outside and you burn it. Safely, of course. Burn it. Now, if you're having terrible weather like we just happen to be having today and you can't burn it, you can burn it tomorrow. But if you feel the need, you need to burn it right after doing it, burn it in your sink or your tub in a metal bowl, okay, or glass bowl that won't break. Make sure you have water nearby just in case, but do it safely, you know. But again, if you want to wait till tomorrow, that's fine too, because you're still in full moon energy. It's okay. So yeah, there's a lot of things to think about. Lots of things to think about, you know. And if you find yourself at a place in life where you're feeling like, you know what, I think I've been through all that a lot already, and I'm pretty good with the accountability. I'm pretty good with the transparency. I really do my best not to make excuses for things. And if I do make excuses, I kind of catch myself and I'm like, great, okay, so you're in a good space. But what happens when you're around people who are not? Does it mean you have to stop being friends or lovers or whatever your situation is, co-workers, so on and so forth? No, you don't. But you can set a boundary. Okay, so for example, you may hear people say, you know, they do whatever they want in life, act however they want, treat their bodies however they want, and then sit there and complain about it. Well, that's not being accountable. You're just making excuses. Okay, so what I mean by that, for one example, is listening to somebody complain all the time about being overweight, but yet they talk about all the junk they eat. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You're worried about your weight, your health? Then do something about it. Don't make excuses. Oh, well, I can't help myself, or, the other people who are eating the same things, so I wanted to eat the same things, and that's like elementary school. Well, they're playing with the thing. I want to play with the thing too. It's like, no. You're your own person. Do your own thing. Drinking, same thing. Drinking or drugs or marijuana, whatever it is. Sometimes people just don't want to do it, but they feel inclined that they have to because everybody else is. And it's like, no. Be accountable for yourself. What happens if you drink? What happens if you do drugs? What happens if you do weed? What happens if you do any of these other things? What happens with you? You need to be accountable for you. And if you're not accountable for you, you can't be accountable for anybody else. So can you imagine going out high or drunk, driving, or God forbid, machinery or anything you're not supposed to be doing? You're not being accountable. Oh, but I can do this. No, you can't. Not that. Okay? I know we should never tell people what they can or cannot do, but in that situation, that is something that, no, people cannot do that. Okay? Because not only are you taking your life in your own hands, you're also taking everybody else's with you. So be accountable for what you do. Be accountable for what you say. Be accountable for everything. Don't make excuses. Sometimes we're wrong. We are. We're human beings. We're going to be wrong sometimes. And if we do say something out of turn or do something out of turn, then just be accountable and say, yeah, I did. I'm very sorry. I should have approached it this way, or I should have said this instead. It's my fault. I understand, and I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. Be accountable. Oh my God, what are they going to say? I feel so bad, blah, blah, blah. Don't make excuses. Be accountable. Okay? I know it's so easy to sit here and say it and say it and say it. But it is hard to be accountable. But you know what? If you're a good person, you can do it. Live in love, not in fear. Say something to someone else out of love of why you said what you said. Don't live in the fear aspect, because then all you're going to do is make excuses for what you said. Okay? So again, it's like I tell people, it's like setting boundaries. Oh, I feel so bad. I said, no, you do it with love. So you know what? I love you, but unfortunately, I cannot help you right now. That's a nice way of saying it. Right? Just like people who have issues with their parents or siblings or whatever. That's a very fine line when it comes to family. Same thing. I love you from a distance. I love you. You're my mother, but I don't like you right now. I don't appreciate the way you treat me. So I'm going to step back for a while. That's creating a boundary in a nice way. There's no yelling. There's no screaming. There's no being mean. No judgment. Kill them in love. Kill them with kindness. But do things so that it's in your personal power. Right? So yeah, I mean, again, it's very easy to say, and it's more work to do it, but learn to do it. I think when we spend so much time living with these thoughts and these things we've been told and so on and so forth from, let's say, childhood to whatever age you are now, that's a long time to have those thoughts. So it's like, yeah, it's time to start changing that, and it makes a world of difference. It definitely does. I mean, even recently, I want to say as early as this year or even last year, my son and I got into a slight tiff, and I said something out of turn, which was not nice. And I was like, wow. Now, I could have just made excuses. Well, you made me mad. You made me say it. I could have done that. But no. Even though he's my son, he is a human being. And no human being should treat another human being badly. I was accountable. And I went to his room and I said, look, I want to talk to you for a minute. I said something out of turn that was not very nice, and I should not have said that, and I'm very sorry for hurting your feelings. So I hope you forgive me. What I meant to say was this. Because yes, can we say things out of anger? Yeah, we do. And that day I just did not catch myself ahead of time. I just let the anger take over and I just said something that I shouldn't have. But again, I took accountability. And for that, he appreciated me. He's like, thank you for being open and honest with me, transparent, right? Excuse me. So yeah, it's accountability, transparency, no more excuses. Now, if this other person, whoever's involved, will not take your openness, will not take your transparency, your accountability, and they seem to still have a problem with that, that is not your problem. So, for example, I'll go back to me and my son. I said something not nice. He stormed off. I went in. I apologized. Accountability. I was transparent with him, telling him this is why I did what I did, which I shouldn't have. I let my anger get the best of me, and I'm sorry if I hurt you. Okay. Now, he was very, thank you. Okay, now let's turn that around. He goes, screw you. Right? Screw you. I don't care. You were mean to me. I don't want to talk to you. That's his choice to do so. Do I have to take it in as my truth? No, because I did my part. Yes, I was wrong in the beginning, but I was accountable for it. I was transparent with it, and I let go of all excuses. Say, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I hope that you can change the way you feel so that we can get back to talking like mom and son again. There's always a way to work through things. So again, the accountability is there, but again, if that other person does not respond back to you in the same way, that's their issue. Maybe they have some anger they're holding on to that they're refusing to let go of. You do what you need to do for yourself and for the situation. Open your heart, set boundaries, have accountability, be transparent, and live in love. It's really what it's about. So from there, where do we go? We have to wait until the other person figures out their end of the deal, so to say, where he may need a day or two to figure things out and then realize okay, why am I so mad? She apologized and so on and so forth. So maybe he's letting his anger get the best of him, right? So we wait for him to come back with his accountability, right? And it's not about tit for tat or whatever. It's not about, well, you did it to me, so I'm going to do it too kind of thing. Some people may feel that way. It's not always the case. It's just sometimes people's anger gets in the way. And maybe his anger isn't even coming from me. It's about me. It's about something else, but it's coming at me. Okay? So again, that's why I always say never judge. Never judge. Because you don't know what the person's thinking, what they're feeling, because you're not in their body. You're not a mind reader. Unless they express what's going on with them, you don't know. You do your part. Again, live from here. Live from the heart. So, again, it's go back to, being accountable. Don't bitch and complain about all these things and not do anything about it. Be accountable. Do something. It's my ex used to do that a lot. He'd complain, my shoulder hurts, this hurts, that hurts. I'm like, go to the doctors. Oh, I will when I have my physical. I'm like, well, when's that? He's like, in 6 months. I'm like, why are you going to wait? Well, I don't want to go twice. He was weird like that anyway. But I'm like, that makes no sense. But I'm like, whatever. It's his choice. It's his body. It's his pain. But then a few days later, oh, my shoulder, my this, my that. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to hear how bad your shoulder hurts. I don't want to hear how bad anything hurts. You have an issue with it. Don't complain about it. Do something about it. Otherwise, I don't want to hear it. And I just had to. I said, because it's just, I'm going to spend 6 months listening to this person every third day decide they're going to complain about their body aches. You get body aches, do something about it. Don't sit here and complain about it. Be accountable. Do something, right? Stop making excuses. Go. Do your thing, right? It's what it is. So guys, that's pretty much my talk today. Again, accountability, transparency, be open and honest with yourself. That's really what it's about. It's, we find it much easier to be open and honest with other people than we do with ourselves. Do we make excuses with other people? Because sometimes when those excuses start coming up, it's like, oh my God, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? Be open and honest with yourself. Take accountability for what you do for yourself or what you're not doing for yourself. Be transparent. Don't make excuses. Live in love. Live in love, not fear. Big, big deal. So let's finish. Fairness. I don't know if you can say it. Anyway, fairness. This situation will be handled in a fair and just manner. Well, yes, if we're living with accountability, transparency, and no excuses, then yes, life is fair, right? Life is right where it's supposed to be. So, do your best. First and foremost, we are all human beings. We are spiritual beings living a human existence. So anyway, we're going to mess up. We're going to screw up. We're going to do things right. We're going to do things wrong. We're going to say the right things. We're going to say the wrong things. It's all about accountability. It's all about transparency. And it's all about stop making excuses. You have a bad day, so what? Everybody has a bad day. Just keep on going, okay? Things aren't working out the way you want them to, then guess what? Maybe wherever it is or whoever it is you're with or wherever you're at, you're not supposed to be there. So why don't you just turn around and go? Be honest with yourself. Do you need to be there? Be honest with yourself. Do you need that person right now? Accountability. If you're miserable, why? You need to fix it. Nobody's going to fix it for you. Be accountable for your own happiness because nobody can make you happy. You have to make you happy, right? All right, guys, that's my talk for this week. I can keep rambling on, but I don't want to do that. So I will see you all next week on Thursday at 7 p.m. So from Mama Christine to all of you, peace, light, love. No more excuses. Have a great day. Oh, great evening, I should say.